All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakakadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful, elect brothers that's doing the will of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Now, this lesson is more of a news or a prophecy update. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows about it. It's all over the news because it just happened yesterday morning. And that is that Israel and the US, which is Babylon the Great, well, not it, but they together attacked Iran. And that caused Iran to retaliate, which is fair, because we're getting closer to the prophecy of WW3, and it's heating up, things are heating up. So without any further ado, this is from GeoMap Stories. I'm gonna play a couple of this page shorts. Fair use, and get scriptures and the lesson. Lord will is edifying.
Israel and the United States has just launched a military strike inside Iran, pushing regional tensions to their highest level in years. According to early reports, the strikes were carried out using long-range missiles, traveling thousands of kilometers. Iranian air defenses intercepted some of them, but several projectiles reportedly reached areas near the capital. Iranian state media confirmed the attack and announced a nationwide state of emergency. Meanwhile, Israel...
Oh yeah, and I saw certain videos of the people of Iran. I saw like 3 videos where they were actually rejoicing because of the attacks that was being done, and Khamenei, which is the leader, he died from the bombing because the U.S. and Israel wants to change the regime. They want to change it. But this might just be the last regime change, because major prophecies are coming to pass. So, everyone's getting tired of it, getting tired of being bullied, by the U.S. and the one that's really getting the U.S. in trouble is Israel. These small hat Amalekites, they're the one that's drawing out the U.S. to do this, which is prophecy.
Near the capital, Iranian state media confirmed the attack and announced a nationwide state of emergency. Meanwhile, Israel described the operation as preemptive, and the Israel Defense Forces has also placed Israel on high alert, warning citizens to prepare for possible retaliation from...
Yes, because Iran hit Tel Aviv, which is beautiful. They have a right to defend themselves, and Iran isn't alone. Iran is backed by China and Russia. And Russia is a major player according to end time prophecy. They're Magog in Ezekiel 38. The Chinese the Chinese missile warning defense didn't work. I was watching something, they say that it's not really advanced, to pick up the Tomahawk missiles. But you want to know? Let me get a Let me get a scripture. This is Habakkuk 2 verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So what is the vision? The vision is the prophecies, because the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, prophets found all throughout the scriptures, right? They were given prophecies by way of visions and dreams. So the vision is the prophecies, which the prophets had in the ancient world, and now a lot of them are coming to pass right now. The WW3 that's coming to pass right now. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. So it's set for an appointed time. The Most High set prophecies to happen at a certain date, an appointed time. For an example, right? I always use this because that's the best analogy or best way for it to make sense to me. To whosoever's listening. Let's say you set a doctor's appointment for 12 p.m. That's at noontime. 12 p.m. at a Friday, right? 12 p.m. Friday. That's what you set it for. That's an appointment time. That's an appointed time. They call it an appointment, a doctor's appointment. So if you go Thursday at 12, the clerk or the doctor's assistant is gonna ask you, why are you here? Your appointment is for tomorrow, Friday at noon, at 12 p.m. It's too soon. Your doctor's appointment isn't until a set date. That's when you could go see the doctor, to do whatever, to get a medical update. It's the same thing like the prophecies. The Most High set the prophecies up for it to take place at a certain time or a certain point in time, at a certain date. And a lot of prophecies are happening right now. The least of the flock shall draw them out. That prophecy is happening right now. That's in Jeremiah. Prophecy of the MOTB, that's happening right now, but it's just not made mandatory. But you understand now what I'm trying to say. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. And right now we're at the end. We're at the end of Esau's age, of his age to rule. We're at the end of the rulership of the wicked. Right now, the Lord is setting Esau up, for them to be destroyed, for them to be brought down. His allies are turning against him, and the land of Israel, those Amalekites, they're drawing out Babylon, which is the U.S., for them to get messed up. They're drawing them out to war, and not lie. So not lie meaning that they are coming to pass. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So a tarry means a delay. So though it seems like the prophecies were being delayed, because they were written, thousands of years ago. For example, Yahweh Shai came around 2,000 years ago, and the prophecies in Matthew, the 24th chapter, are happening right now. So though it seemed like there was a delay, but they were just set for an appointed time. So it's not tarrying, it's not delaying anymore. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So the destruction of Babylon the Great, which the Lord is setting up right now, that we're witnessing, WW3, the MOTB, Isaiah 4:1, they're all beginning to take place now, because we're at the end of the last days, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it's not tarrying anymore, it's not delaying anymore, because the appointed time is now.
From Iran, the strike comes after weeks of rising pressure from the United States. The United States and Iran had been engaged in negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, but no breakthrough was achieved.
Iran's nuclear program, because the nuclear deal that Iran made with the West, it expired, basically. It expired. So the U.S. tried to get a new deal going, and then Iran was like, nah, because they try to limit, the West, the U.S. They try to limit Iran's hands to not make or create nuclear missiles when they have the resources or material to do it. That's what the nuclear deal is about. Iran has the means and the materials and the resources to do it, but the West is like, nah, don't do it. They put a cap on it. But the Lord is gonna make them do it anyways. Because a lot of missiles have to be created by these nations to bring down Babylon the Great. And Iran is gonna be one of them, along with Russia and China, and America's allies, America's European allies.
And this strike could further derail diplomatic efforts. Presently, United States has a strong military presence in the region, and Iran also possesses a large arsenal of ballistic missiles and drones. In this situation, if Iran chooses to respond, the confrontation could expand rapidly.
All right. So Iran has ballistic missiles and drones. But Iran has been getting help from China and also Russia. So let me get, not this, I'm not getting to that yet. Salakia. Jeremiah, is it 49 or 50? Least. They both pretty much say the same thing. Jeremiah 49 and Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord. The word Lord, when it's in all caps, refers to the Most High Yahweh. But now we say Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, the Most High in the name of His Son. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is our mediator towards the Most High. You can't get to the Father without going through the Son. And Yahweh Shai made Himself a sacrifice for the sins of His people, the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But now only concerns the elect now, and then later in the kingdom is going to be all of Israel.
Hello, customers. Upon request, priority seat.
Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that He hath taken against Edom, Edom is a so-called white man, right? The capital city of these Edomites today is Babylon the Great, which is America. You know, that's the main hub. You know, that's where all the power comes from. And his purposes, so America is like modern day Basra. Basra was a city in Edom. And his purposes that he hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Teman are the Germans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Now the least of the flock shall draw them out. So who is the least of the flock of the Edomites? Least meaning insignificant, and they're also going to ignoble. No, out of all the so-called white people, the most insignificant ones are the small hat people, because the whole world don't like them. And furthermore, you have actual Edomites that don't like them either, you know? Let me get least. The least of the flock. Taza Ayar. Little, insignificant, young. Insignificant, mean. So, little, not as in, it says number here, few in age, young in value. In value as in, they're looked at, you know, as nothing, especially right now to what they're doing, you know, towards, you know, those people, you know, those Palestinians, you know, which are Ishmaelites in the land of Palestine. They're committing genocide, right? But also to the world, they're going everywhere in the world and, you know, terrorizing the people. You know, starting fires like in Chile and Argentina, which the native people of those lands are Israelites from the tribe of Naphtali, because, you know, they start fires there, you know, so they could get the land for cheap, you know. So nobody likes these Amalekites right now. Everyone practically hates them. Everywhere they go, you know, you can see videos on TikTok and Instagram. You know, if they find out that you're Amalekite, then you're not welcomed. You know, you're not welcome. Please leave. You know, young in value, ignoble. Because the Edomites, you know, especially the Amalekites, they are servants. You know, they're under the Israelites, but they're over us right now because we sinned against the Lord, and the Lord is using them to punish us. But our punishment is almost up because they're about to be destroyed and taken out of power. So ignoble, I'm going to get that. So the least of the flock are the Amalekites. Ignoble, this, let's see if I could get it right here. Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Characterized by baseness, lowness, or meanness, of low birth or common origin. Hey, Jacob, our forefather, whose name was later changed to Israel, got the birthright and the blessing from his brother Esau, which that was his birthright and blessing to begin with anyways, but the Lord set it up that way to where Esau got so-called tricked out of it. but it was really Jacob's anyways to begin with. We are kings and priests. You know, we are a nation soon to be kings and priests of the earth under Yahweh Shai, you know. So ignoble, characterized by baseness, slowness, or meanness. Base men, the scriptures call them base men because they were just a few hundred years ago during the Dark Ages, they were in caves, you know, of low birth or common origin. So they're the real ones that are of low birth, like the word what's the word I'm thinking about? Bauer, Maya Amschel Bauer, the foreparent, you could say, you know, the forefather, the one that started it all, of the Rothschild. Bauer is going into servant, you know, and the Rothschilds are a family of elite Edomites. So now you catch my drift, right? The least of the flock are the Amalekites. Surely the least of the flock, which are the Amalekites, which are in the land of Israel today, you know, and they're all over the world, you know, doing wickedness. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So
I don't doubt he's rich. Yeah.
So these Amalekites are drawing out Babylon the Great, you know, Edom, Esau, the U.S., to war in the Middle East, which is going to be WW3. Let's see. Breaking news. Tensions rise in the Middle East as the U.S. and Israel launch another strike to Iran. That's from KPIX, CBS News Bay Area. Information about the attack in Iran. Breaking. Israeli army claims it launched new attacks on Tehran, Iran, after retaliatory strikes. So Iran got them back. You know, it struck Tel Aviv and Bahrain, and I believe a U.S. military base, and now they're getting them back. Iran retaliates with missiles after U.S.-Israel launched strikes yesterday. National security and policy expert unpacks U.S.-Israel strikes on Iran.
Moment in the Middle East is Asha Castleberry Hernandez, a national security.
Oh, you want to know what, though? That's beautiful. No, I'm not looking for this. I'm looking for the one in Joel.
Hello, customers. You are the eyes and ears of New York. To report any suspicious activities, an MC employee will call 1-888 NYC6. Roby, you see something? Say something. Thank you for riding with NCA New York City.
Let me see. Salakia. Oil tanker. Iran attacks oil tanker for illegal attempt to cross Strait of Hormuz. Iranian forces attacked the Skylight, an oil tanker that was illegally attempting to cross the Strait of Hormuz, setting it on fire and causing it to begin sinking. The tanker's 20 crew members, including 15 Indians and 5 Iranians, were evacuated safely. So the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and that's going to cause economic turmoil. Oil prices going up, $100 oil. Joel 3:11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, all the heathen nations, because you want to know why? You Israelites have no part in fighting in WW3 anyways. And if you're there fighting for the UK or for US or for whatever country when WW3 starts, that's it for you. You won't make it, because this is not your fight. The Lord is setting them up for them to destroy each other. You're not supposed to be involved in this, but hey, you want to know what? You wanted the benefits of free college, Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. The mighty ones are the angels. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shaphat. Yahweh is the name of the Most High, and Shaphat means judgment or decision. And come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Because let me read verse 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. So the Lord is going to cause all the heathen to gather there in the Middle East for them to have their war, and right in the midst of the war, right in the midst of a nuclear war, Yahushua is going to come down, right? Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. So all these nations are going to be gathered in that region, which is happening right now, because a lot of countries like Germany and Denmark, they already set up a draft. There's a word for it. Draft term. A military draft. A conscription, I believe. A conscription. A conscription or a military draft is the compulsory enrollment of individuals into national armed forces. So a lot of these nations are already setting that up. They're getting ready for WW3. They're getting ready to go over there in the Middle East for war, which they're not gonna make it.
Hello, customers. You are the eyes and ears of New York. To report any suspicious activities, tell an MTA employee or call NYC safe.
So
Always, if you see something,
this is
say
March 1st, which
thank
is
you for
today.
riding with us.
This is CNBC, $100 oil. Prolonged Hormuz closure could spark a 1970s style energy shock. Analysis warned that a prolonged Strait of Hormuz disruption could push oil prices into triple digits. So right now, oil probably costs like at the most $5 maybe, or a little bit less than $5. It could go to triple digits. Markets are likely to price in an immediate risk premium, analysis says. The duration of the conflict would determine the severity of any spike, they told NBC. So, however long this fighting between U.S. and Israel and Iran lasts, in which UK, they say, don't want to join in on that because they want a regime change in Iran too. So it's getting heated. Worst case scenario include Gulf infrastructure attacks and a broader regional escalation, experts say. Oil markets are bracing for possible supply shock after U.S. strikes on Iran over the weekend reignites fears that flows through the Strait of Hormuz could be disrupted because and let me get a Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Babylon the Great is the U.S. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. So a balm is something that is used, to heal you. You would take it and rub it on an injury, or a cut or something, so that you could heal faster. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. So Babylon won't be healed. It's all downhill from this. And why did I go into this? Besides the dollar being weakened, Japan did that with the US Treasury. US Treasury bonds, they raised their interests, and that has a like domino effect on the world finance, like because Japan is one of the highest owners of US debt. So the dollar is being devalued, and that's going into the Great Reset, in which they want, the Strait of Hormuz as well. So Babylon the Great won't be healed. The jobs ain't coming. The jobs ain't coming back. Panama Canal. Purpose. AI overview. The Strait of Hormuz and the Panama Canal are critical global maritime checkpoints essential for moving energy and goods efficiently. So that's a key point for the movement of goods from one part of the world to another part of the world. So Iran closed it, so that's gonna affect, everyone that trades, that relies on that to get their goods and energy as in oil, and energy as in oil and other goods. The Strait of Hormuz is the primary irreplaceable route for over 20% of global oil consumption, linking the Persian Gulf to international markets. The Panama Canal connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, drastically cutting shipping times and costs for trade between Asia and the Americas. Oil and gas transport the strait is the world's most crucial route for oil, with approximately 20 million barrels per day, about 20% of global oil consumption moving through it in 2024. It is the route for roughly 1/3 of the world's liquefied natural gas. So these countries, especially, the U.S., relies on this to be open because of energy and goods. So it's gonna affect energy prices. Ecclesiastes 12. Wait. I could read 3. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So there's a time and season for everything to happen. Verse 8 says, a time of love and a time to love and a time of hate and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And right now we're in a time of war, and we're not in a time of peace. Even though DJT declares himself as the peace president with his board of peace that they want to have to replace NATO, in which these countries got to spend like $1 billion to join. It's crazy. But you can see that division. The Most High is isolating Babylon. The Most High is isolating Esau. He's isolating the U.S. away from its allies, because they left like a couple dozen UN groups, right? And now DJT has his board of peace, and he's going at it with the UN and NATO, saying that we do too much for them, and they don't do enough for us. He's super proud, Ecclesiastes 12 and that's the end of the lesson. Lord will is edifying. I'm out of time. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashem Yahshai, Bashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.